Hello and welcome to week 7 in Psych Seminar, and we are taking on this week the first of 3 chapters that I refer to as reading, writing, and arithmetic as it relates to the field of psychology. We're going to start with reading this particular chapter, go into writing, emphasizing the American Psychological Association's writing style, and then finally, we're going to talk about mathematics. We're going to do a little bit of statistics, very important mathematical procedures in research in psychology. So, the idea of introducing reading in the field of psychology at this point in your career is to help you identify the most valid sources of information when you have psychological questions. Now, there are sources for information in abundance. Of course, we all know the internet, libraries, magazines, articles, news, TV, radio. It goes on and on. Podcast, there's another one. But where do you go to find out the best source of truth? Now, keeping in mind, psychology is a science. It emphasizes the use of the scientific method that I review in this course. Scientists discipline themselves to conduct research, gather data, draw conclusions, and publish those conclusions. And they publish those conclusions into magazines that are referred to in the field as journals. Now, journals, magazine, physically they look very much the same. Inside, they look very different. The important thing to note when you are reading the psychological literature, the peer-reviewed literature, the journals, all those are terms to describe this, is that these journals are written to an audience that doesn't include you. It largely doesn't even include me. These are specialists within their field, and they are writing to other specialists in their field. So you're going to encounter language, form, the use of methods, the use of mathematics that will be confusing and unfamiliar to you, yet this is the primary source of scientific information in the field. Great stuff. This is where it all sort of happens as we are discovering more and more about the human experience. Now, for this particular chapter, I'm introducing you to that source of information, primary sources, and asking you to encounter it and at the same time experience the frustration of reading articles that are not meant for you as its primary audience. Nonetheless, that is where the information is. When you are asked to substantiate what you're saying within an academic context by using peer-reviewed resources, this is what we're talking about. Now, to help you along the way, I've created an assignment. It's essentially an article review. I'm going to be doing it in a slightly different way, but the article review is going to have you search out and find an interesting topic and a peer-reviewed article about that topic. You are then going to construct a slideshow, and the slideshow is going to include a title page and then a slide for each identified section within a typical research article. The one that you pick may not have all of them. Some articles are different, some journals are somewhat different, but you'll look at each section of the article. We're going to look at like a general template of this, and then you might see some modifications for that. I've also included a technical skill in this particular assignment, is that you're going to create a slideshow. Now, in lieu of the fact that we don't meet face-to-face in order for you to do a presentation on the article that you've discovered, I'm going to have you record a voiceover, to record a speech over the slides. Now, this is when it becomes important for you to access the downloadable versions of Microsoft PowerPoint and or Apple Keynote. Those two applications, when they're sitting on your computer, easily, there's a there's a menu item called record narration, and you use the microphone built into your device to record your narration. Now, I know that for some of you, this is a technological movement in that direction. There are other ways to record narrations over slides, but in the long run, within this program, you're eventually going to have Microsoft Office sitting on a computer. So I'm driving that point. If you're creative and you can find another way to do it and get it to me in a way that I can see it, then that'll be your creativity. But I'm coming from the point of view that you now have Microsoft Office, so Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel on your computer. If you're using an Apple device, then Keynote is fine. Pages is not. Neither is Numbers. That's the Word and Excel things. But Keynote's great. It has the ability to create a narrated slideshow, and I can open those. Or you can export it as a movie and upload the movie. So, where do you get this article? What I want to introduce to you is a nice, easy way to get into the psychological literature by reading and perusing one of the regular magazines that is produced by the American Psychological Association, and that is the Monitor on Psychology. This is a free magazine. You get print copies of it when you're a member of the American Psychological Association, but you can access it both on the web and you can access it through an app that you can download to your device. So let's take a look at the current Monitor on Psychology. The link to this is right in the course book. And what you're looking at from that link, this is the latest edition of this magazine, and see the topic is 2025, the 10 key trends coming into the new year. Now this magazine, it's like a lot of other magazines. It has color pictures, it has advertisements and whatnot, even in the online version. So it reads very much like a magazine, and the articles in here are written by not researchers usually, but by journalists, and the journalists are toning down the language to make it understandable for just about anybody. So this is a really good place to start, and I'm going to show you exactly where I want you to go to find an interesting topic and a research article, a peer-reviewed research article that's associated with that. So if you go to this page as an example, and we scroll down, so these are all articles here. Don't pick any of those, even if they're interesting. Come all the way down here to this section right here, and you're going to see a section called In Brief. In Brief is a section in every edition of the Monitor, and it portrays a number of different research articles that have come out very recently. Usually compelling articles, sort of the best of articles according to the editors of this magazine, what's happening in the field of psychology, and they provide direct links to information about the article that came out. So let's take a look at these and we'll see how this works. So you press the In Brief, and what you get here is the first one. This is the first of many articles here in the In Brief. So this one, Aging, Stereotypes, Language Development, Empathy, Politics, and More Research. Okay. Love You, Hate Your Politics. That's one. Young and Old Feel Stereotype Threat. Ostracism and Withdrawal. Time-Tested Therapies Beat Meds Long Term. Consistent quick responses boost children's vocabulary. Each one of these is a brief one-paragraph summary of an article that has been published. Let's look at this one. Time-tested therapies beat meds long term. Let's say you read this and like, I'm interested in reading the article where this came from. Right there. This is the Digital Object Identifier Number, or DOI code. It's an active link. You click that link, and this brings you to PsychNet, And this is the actual article that they're talking about in brief. Here's the citation in APA format. And you use this information. This is providing a summary. It's not the whole article. You have to get the whole article. You take this information and you look that up in Google Scholar to see if it's available for free on the web. You can look it up in EBSCO, which is our library-based data information system for articles. You can look for that to get the whole thing. Or you can ask your friendly librarian. You'll notice over here that it says right up here, get access, and has a little PDF thing. But if I click that, it's going to ask me to buy it. Do not buy anything. Don't click on that and pay 17 bucks. That's not, you can get this article through the library. You can often find them, within online databases. You're going to read that article, not the little in brief, and not this landing page over here for PsycNet. You're actually going to get the full article, however many pages it is. You're going to peruse through that, and you're going to build that slideshow based on what you've discovered. I anticipate that this will not be easy reading. That's the point. I want you to experience that challenge for understanding the core and primary source of our information in the field of psychology, and what better way than to give you a chance to review an article. So that's the assignment for this week, is just that one assignment, is the article review. We do, however, have the special assignment, and I've had to make some modifications. In the course book, in the section for Pinker, I bring you to a Part 2 Discussion B, which in the past has been to take a quiz that tests you on your knowledge of the world around you. Now, that test has been changed, and I found a new one. So if you go to your course, sorry, I didn't have this all set up here. Let me go right to it. Oh, look at that. Forget it. I moved it to next week. There we go. Forgot that I had done that. So don't worry about that particular discussion yet. And so we'll get to that special assignment next time. But there is you can see the link in next week's section in the timeline. It's to a different. It's part of the same Gapminder website, but it brings you to a number of different quizzes that you can take on current events and what's going on in the world and whatnot. Kind of aligns with Pinker's message of, we're not well informed about what is really going on in the world. So this is a really good opportunity to do that. But it's next week. Sorry about that little confusion. I had moved that over to next week. So all you have is the Chapter 5 assignment, the article review. So have a great week, and I look forward to hearing from you and reading those reviews. Take care.